What happens when pure desperation meets impossible mathematics? And the result could either create basketball's most expensive friendship experiment or the NBA's next salary cap catastrophe. The Los Angeles Lakers are staring down both scenarios simultaneously, with blockbuster trade rumors swirling around a $220 million center and reunion whispers involving LeBron James' oldest basketball brotherhood. Moves that could define whether this franchise returns to championship glory or becomes a cautionary tale about roster construction gone wrong. The Lakers' championship equation: star power meets salary cap reality. The Lakers find themselves trapped in basketball purgatory. Talented enough to dream big, but constrained enough by financial reality to make those dreams feel impossibly distant. With LeBron James approaching his 40th birthday and Anthony Davis carrying the weight of championship expectations, Los Angeles faces the classic win-now dilemma that has destroyed many franchises. How do you add elite talent when you're already spending like a championship team? Enter Karl-Anthony Towns, the five-time All-Star whose $220 million contract makes him both the perfect solution and the impossible acquisition. Towns represents everything the Lakers need: a legitimate center who can stretch the floor, protect the rim, and provide the third star that championship teams require. He's also the kind of player whose salary cap implications would make even the most aggressive front offices pause. Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley floated the Lakers as a potential landing spot for Towns, acknowledging the mathematical complexity while highlighting the basketball brilliance. Towns might land on the optimistic end of LA's trade budget, but the Lakers might have just enough assets and money-matching salaries to get a deal done. But here's where the story gets truly fascinating and potentially terrifying for Lakers fans. Any deal involving Towns wouldn't just be about basketball fit, it would be about constructing a $620 million trio of superstars that could either dominate the NBA or collapse under its own financial weight. The three-star gamble: championship gold or salary cap hell. The proposed Lakers trio of LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Karl-Anthony Towns reads like a fantasy basketball wet dream and a salary cap expert's nightmare rolled into one impossible scenario. The combined talent would be undeniable: three players capable of taking over games individually while creating synergies that could revolutionize NBA offense. Towns' ability to stretch the floor would create unprecedented spacing for both James and Doncic. His presence in the post would provide another scoring dimension, while his improved defense could anchor a championship-caliber frontcourt. The offensive potential of this trio would force opposing defenses into impossible decisions every possession. But Buckley's analysis includes a crucial caveat. LA's defense might take a hit, but that may not matter if the offense is pumping in 125-plus points per night. This encapsulates both the promise and peril of modern NBA roster construction. Sometimes you have to sacrifice balance for transcendent talent and hope the mathematics work in your favor. The salary cap implications alone would be staggering. Towns' $53.1 million cap hit for the 2025-26 season would force the Lakers into luxury tax territory that could cost ownership hundreds of millions in penalties. The three-star model that Buckley references has proven challenging under the current collective bargaining agreement, requiring teams to surround their superstars with minimum salary players and hoping role players overperform. The Knicks' dilemma: trading away their star for what? From New York's perspective, the Lakers' trade proposal faces one insurmountable obstacle. What could Los Angeles possibly offer that would entice the Knicks to trade away their second-best player? Outside of LeBron James and Luka Doncic, both presumably untouchable, Austin Reeves represents the Lakers' most valuable trade asset, and that's hardly enough to pry away a five-time All-Star in his prime. The Athletic's James Edwards III provides context that makes a Towns trade more plausible, estimating a 40% chance one of the usual starters isn't on the roster opening night. His reasoning centers on both Anunoby and Towns having lengthy deals while dealing with injuries throughout their careers. This creates an intriguing dynamic where the Knicks might be motivated sellers rather than reluctant ones. If New York views Towns' contract as a long-term liability rather than an asset, they could be willing to accept less value in return for salary cap flexibility and roster reconstruction opportunities. But even a motivated seller needs adequate compensation, and the Lakers' asset cupboard looks increasingly bare after years of trading future picks for present talent. The mathematical challenge of matching Towns' salary while providing meaningful value to New York makes this trade feel more like wishful thinking than realistic possibility. The Chris Paul connection. Friendship meets championship desperation. While the Towns trade represent high-stakes gambling, the Lakers' potential pursuit of Chris Paul feels like calculated nostalgia with championship upside. The 12-time All-Star and LeBron's longtime friend could provide the veteran leadership and point guard stability that Los Angeles has lacked since their 2020 championship run. Paul's 2024-25 season with San Antonio showcased exactly what the Lakers need: a floor general who can manage games, distribute effectively, and remain healthy throughout an 82-game grind. His 8.8 points, 7.4 assists, and 1.3 steals per game don't jump off the stat sheet, but his ability to start all 82 games demonstrates the durability that championship teams require. The financial math on Paul makes infinitely more sense than the Towns scenario. After earning over $400 million throughout his career, Paul signed a modest one-year, $10.4 million deal with the Spurs. The Lakers could likely acquire him for similar money without devastating their salary cap flexibility. LeBron's 2021 comments on Jimmy Kimmel Live provide emotional context. "That is my brother, and we've known each other since my junior year in high school. We've been friends ever since. This isn't just about basketball fit, it's about fulfilling a friendship dream while potentially adding championship-caliber leadership." The championship window reality check. Both potential acquisitions force the Lakers to confront an uncomfortable truth about their championship timeline. LeBron James is 40 years old and playing on borrowed time, regardless of his continued excellence. Anthony Davis remains elite but injury-prone, making every season feel potentially pivotal. The urgency to maximize this window creates pressure to make moves that might not make long-term sense. The Towns trade represents the all-in mentality that championship contenders sometimes need. If it works, the Lakers could return to title contention immediately. If it fails, they could be paying luxury tax penalties for years while fielding a team that can't compete at the highest level. The Paul signing represents the safer, more sustainable approach. He provides immediate help without long-term consequences, giving the Lakers veteran leadership while maintaining roster flexibility for future moves. The front office crossroads, Lakers management, faces a defining moment that will determine how this LeBron Anthony Davis era concludes. Do they swing for the fences with a Towns trade that could create a championship super team or salary cap disaster? Do they pursue the safer Paul signing that provides incremental improvement without massive risk? Or do they stand pat and hope their current roster can compete with younger, more talented teams? The Towns scenario feels like the kind of move that defines legacies, either as the stroke of genius that delivered another championship or the overreach that crippled the franchise for years. The mathematical challenges alone make it feel more like fantasy than reality, but the Lakers have surprised everyone before with their willingness to mortgage the future for present success. The Paul connection feels more realistic and potentially more valuable than his modest statistical contributions suggest. His championship experience, point guard IQ, and friendship with LeBron could provide intangible benefits that don't appear on spreadsheets, but matter in crucial playoff moments. The ultimate basketball gamble, these Lakers rumors capture everything fascinating about NBA roster construction in the modern era. Teams are constantly balancing present opportunity against future flexibility, star power against salary cap mathematics, and basketball fit against financial reality. Whether the Lakers pursue the impossible Towns trade or the realistic Paul signing, they're acknowledging that their championship window requires immediate action. The question becomes whether they're willing to bet everything on friendship and star power, or take the more measured approach that might not deliver championship glory, but won't destroy their future either. The beauty of the NBA lies in its unpredictability. Sometimes the impossible becomes inevitable, and sometimes the safe choice delivers unexpected rewards. The Lakers' next moves will determine whether this era ends with championship celebration or cautionary tale status. What's your verdict on these Lakers possibilities? Should they risk everything on the Towns gamble, go with the Paul reunion, or explore entirely different options? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and hit that like button if you're as fascinated as I am by these franchise-defining decisions that could reshape the entire Western Conference landscape.